उनमें सेंसर्स के जरिए ब्रिजेस, हाईवेज, उनमें केड़े किस्म जी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर थी सके थी गवर्नमेंट्स कैन forecast those kind of things. And वो गवर्नमेंट ने पंहिंजे एंड ते उनखे forecast कीअं इस्तेमाल कर. मुंहिंजो सब्जेक्ट आहे the how to do business with the federal government. They have 6.4 to 5 trillion dollars US budget है. Solid 6.4 trillion dollars. Lot of zeros there. So, and 3.4 trillion is a contracting budget. Contracts. उनमें वॾो component आहे IT जो, civil engineers जो, roads, supplies of products, services. There's so many opportunities that you just cannot even imagine. We have not even seen anything. Commercial side पे peanuts आए. I will talk about that. So this is the objective. Objective यहाँ पर हिसाब मौसी इन के क्या है वो opportunities के पेश किए. So Shahbaz आहे सां गॾु. Shahbaz, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. If you could be a little louder, we'll appreciate that. वॾी महिरबानी तव्हांजी ताकि असां आजियां था कयूं सना जे जेको आहे कन्वेंशन में. So already late to Kayong, we're sorry about that. So please go ahead and dive into it. So let me go to your web presentation. Tika.
Thank you, Agha. Let me just take you guys through, a little journey that I've taken as an entrepreneur myself. One of the things that the problem that I had when I left, on homeland, I was a Tareen. After Bedaro, 1988 में जब हम घर में वापस, तो उन वक्त सिंधी मुहाजिर धंधा शुरू हुआ कराची में हैदराबाद. My father was a chief engineer in civil engineering, and he was actually managing business to a certain place. So they put your job down and they went to Asante and they said, so I went to London and I did my computer science, software engineering, first class first, and also gold medal from London University. And I did that, and right after that, I joined various companies that I worked in, and you can see on the slide. But in 1997, I got a chance to work with two bankers from Royal Bank of Scotland and National Westminster Bank. Those guys had an idea of anti-fraud technology on the credit cards, and they hired me to basically build a program. Three of us, we built a company, and that company was called Mondex. We built the technology that actually is used by everyone on the planet today, and that is actually called chip and pin technology. If you have a credit card today, in your wallet, that is likely using my software, and that is the software we developed, which is chip and pin technology. And you can see that transactions and everything is actually using that. Even in US now, you get a chip on the credit card. So that is the technology I did. We sold that company, the MasterCard, for $780 million.
Wow.
And that actually gave me a fantastic success to build startups. Right after that, I actually created Tareen, which is my new company. And today, I am so proud that basically we have actually grown from one man, myself, to over 130 people worldwide. We have offices in London, we have offices in Boston, which is our headquarters, and we have offices in South Africa. So we are, going in various locations. In fact, we are opening offices in California, in Morgan Hill, in Houston, Nevada. So the growth of the company is what I've actually done twice as a, small company. My previous company, Mondex, we grew from Standard Bank in South Africa. We have Barclays in London. So we have quite a lot of high-profile customers and multi-million-dollar deals. What I really want to talk about is basically the startups. There are two aspects to startup. One is the science and one is the artistic element. When I say a science, actually you need to look at it from a very technical perspective. What is the fundamental? You need to have a vision that you want to build a startup around. We need to have a differentiated service or product, right? We need to basically have a customer who can actually use your service or product. And of course, one of the key things, if you are in US, and that's very important for a high growth business, you need to be able to raise private equity, venture capital, investment from a lot of vendors. And there's a lot of fear and greed, so you have to basically deal with those situations. And the way you do it, you actually surround yourself with smart people. The worst thing you do is basically hire your friends in the company. So when we look at the second thing, it's basically the artistic element. And artistic element, we're going to go through these topics. The key thing really is that, you don't want to be smart guy on the room. You want to basically get other people to do a lot of talking, other people to do a lot of work. And then you want to basically drive the leadership. And then, one of the key things is that, when you come up with an idea, and you think it's the best idea, when you try to execute it, it often doesn't work. Why does it work? Because it may not be a real world problem. The key thing really is that we need to find a practical issue. And the way you can find a practical issue is basically by networking with like-minded people, customers, partners, as well as the university researchers. And you actually basically surround yourself with motivated people. The other thing is, of course, as an entrepreneur, one of the partners, one of the founders must be a best salesperson. Right? I was an engineer and I never did sales, but it's charming, to be frank with you. I now actually do multi-million-dollar deals. So the reason behind that is that you have to be really in the game and go about it. The other thing about, the key thing that differentiates from an entrepreneur and the rest of the world is basically the entrepreneurs are totally believers. They actually turn things around. People will tell you, oh, this is tough, don't do it. People will tell you, no, you can't do it. You have to turn things around. And that's precisely what the entrepreneur is all about. If you never get another city money, that is what entrepreneurship is about. You have to be very tenacious, you have to be very zippy, and you have to be very believer in what you're doing. So how do you actually get into this area? Next slide, sir. And how do you actually ask yourself, are you an entrepreneur? And the way we actually basically do this is by asking very simple questions. Like, when I fail, do I actually take that failure very well? Right? And when failure happens, how do I actually behave? Do I actually basically, convince people to buy something? Do I actually sell, something? And if not, it doesn't have to be that everybody can do everything. If you are, one founder, then it's a problem. But if you have multiple partners, you're 2-3 guys, and one of the guys is good at technology, one of the guys is good at selling, and one of the guys is good at fundraising, then if you have a fantastic winning team, that's how it actually works. Above all, one of the fundamental challenges of any entrepreneur is that you have to be able to, articulate your value proposition. You have to be able to talk about your service, your product. And there are people who will Pakistani entrepreneur organization, there's a Thai, which is the Indian entrepreneur or Indus entrepreneur, they call it. So you can actually get to those networking events and learn about it. And one of the other things that basically really differentiates entrepreneurs from the rest of the professional people is that entrepreneurs are very much emotional people. And if you're a successful entrepreneur, at some point you will basically be very, very emotional because you will have shareholders who will be really greedy. You will have customers who will be wanting a cheaper software, a cheaper solution. And there will be employees and HR issues. So you have a lot of emotional issues to tackle. Now, what does it take to be an entrepreneur, and what does it take to be creating or building, a successful company? Right? Most people actually think if you have a great idea and you have a great product, then actually you have a success. Now, I can tell you, there's been some really crap products in the world, right? Absolutely crap products in the world. But there are people who have actually basically sold those crap products and made a successful business. At the end of the day, it's not only about product, it's about how you execute your idea, how you basically put together a fantastic team that really understands your vision, how you actually manufacture and engineer the product. So that basically goes beyond that best idea or what the best product can do. Okay? And, from a launching perspective, we need to be basically, reaching out and discover what other entrepreneurs are actually doing. For example, watching, learning about the life of Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or successful entrepreneurs who have actually done this. They were just like us, but they actually executed so well. They surrounded themselves with smart people. That's how it is. And they said that Steve Jobs, without Tim Cook, was nothing. Because Tim Cook was his execution engine. And the thing about it, he was a great product guy. When it comes to business, Tim Cook actually managed it well. And so, smart people are very important. And of course, you need the courage, you need